Hello, citizens of YouTube. This is the Geeky Nerd here, and today we're going to be having something very new and very different that's just been kind of released on the market from everything I've seen. It is by Daniel Fitch Defense, and this is their ventilator. And why you guys should maybe consider one, considering the price and what its main purpose is. Before I begin, though, I'd like to say a big thank you out to everyone who has liked, commented, and subscribed on the previous videos. I always appreciate it and always enjoy talking to you guys. But if you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you enjoy this video, enjoy this type of content, please consider liking, commenting, and or subscribing. Whew, with the PR out the way, let's get into it. So Daniel Fitch Defense is someone I came across when looking for rail scales, basically a way to, so this video included with my other videos of the honey badger at home, right? And because that is a tucked can build, I wanted to figure out a way to mitigate the heat transfer to my hand with having a can underneath the handguard. And on my ultimate AR build, I used a cold tack wrap, which has been perfectly fine. But for the honey badger at home, I want to do something a little bit different, considering it's kind of space age. Like it was really hard to find something out there that really kind of meet all the criteria, but I think I found something with the Daniel Fitch here. So here's what it comes with, right? Just a little bag, a little card, MLOK screws, and this. Now you guys are probably looking at this saying, okay, Geeky Nerd, what's the big deal, right? Is just a rail scale, piece of polymer, what have you. Aha, and that's where you'd be wrong. So again, being the Geeky Nerd channel here, there is quite a few things that I enjoy seeing whenever someone is designing something, right? You can make a copycat, but if you really do something differently and you have a science backing it, it just really kind of tickles my fancy. And a degree in mechanical engineering always is interesting to find stuff like this. So what am I going on about, guys? Well, this is no other rail scale. What it does is it thermally decouples the surface area of everything of this from your hand. So whenever you're dealing with heat, you can either mitigate it, transfer it, or basically, in this case, right, thermally decouple it. So transferring is if you have a piece of copper, right? Copper, as we know, transfers heat very efficiently, but aluminum does as well, but not as efficient as copper, right? So if you put a piece of ice on a piece of copper and a piece of aluminum, on the copper, it's going to melt faster because it's able to transfer its thermal mass, thermal energy from itself, the ice cube, into the block, right? And so that's one way. The other way is just by shielding, so providing either enough thermal mass for it to take a while to overcome. Think of like a heat sink right on a CPU, or a way to kind of mitigate it out, kind of again like a heat sink on a CPU. But sorry, getting back to the point here. So thermal decoupling is if you have a large surface area that is making contact, but then on the opposite end, right? So this end is towards your gun, this end is to the opposite end. There is less surface area touching one side than it is the other side. And you can actually see that here via so like these little channels, right? And you can actually see inside each one of like those little channels, they aren't just cutouts, guys. They're actually flowing through. So while this whole surface area is touching the firearm and it's using MLOK, of course, right, making that solid contact, you can kind of see here, the only area that's actually touching your hand is these little, as I just drop everything, having geeking out over here, is these little areas. And then even so, these little areas have little ridges in them. So the only area that's really actually making contact. So while this whole thing is getting hot and contacting your gun, the only area actually touching your skin is this. And because there is so little, I guess, a thermal contact being able to pass through from your rifle to your hand, it makes these to where these don't get hot at all. They're also made from carbon fiber reinforced polymer. It does appear that they're doing like additive manufacturing, basically, the new high-end 3D printing stuff, but don't get it twisted, guys. 3D printing is not all the same. This is some cool like space age stuff I just find very interesting. I'm not a big fan of additive printing 3D printed cans. I don't think they stand up to the test of time, but something like this is just fantastic. And again, I know I'm geeking out here, but if you're watching this, you guys should be geeking out with me here. But it has like these little flow through channels, right? So it does pass, directly through. And yeah, so you're having this contact, but only that part is actually getting hot. And even then, in the areas where they've done, so they really thought this thing out. um, in the areas where it is touching. So like in your hand area, it's like these little pillars, these like little braces, but it's not every single area. So it really only would be right here to right here and heating up this part, but not necessarily this part, but only this part over here. And this being carbon fiber, polymer, carbon fiber doesn't transfer heat well either. So what's the deal, guys, is that your hand will not get hot with this. I'm looking forward to very much testing this out and seeing how it functions. Again, being carbon fiber, it is strong and rigid, and the price on these guys, that this is the real kicker. At time of filming this, only 25 per scale, right? This is the 4 slot, and then if you go to like the 3 slot, it like cuts down a bit, cuts down a bit. And to show you guys what it looks like, because I couldn't wait after I saw this, here's how it kind of looks. So this is part of the honey badger at home here, right? But you can see in here how it kind of mounts up. Now, this being a very fat rail, these full wings on a standard skinnier rail will actually wrap over, and these two wings will actually come together and create a perfectly thermal barrier for you. But still, even with this, my hand is not even touching that aluminum. I'm still fully wrapped around. And it gives you, of course, extra grip as well, and it allows air to pass through as you're not touching it. So even if it was to start getting warm, it isn't going to get that hot. But yeah, guys, that's how it generally looks. So just really cool stuff, and what a age to be alive in the gun community. But let me know what you guys think down below. If I have just had a few too many and am nerding out over something that's very trivial, I don't think I am. All the thought, the manufacturing, the process, like the engineering that has gone into this and the thought that's gone into this is fantastic. And it is not just a slap a piece of polymer on the edge and it's protecting your hand and there it is. It does have science backing it, and I find it super cool. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If again, if I've blown it out of proportion, if you guys have heard Daniel Fitch, but I'd love to hear it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider liking, commenting, and/or subscribing. Hope everyone's having a wonderful, awesome, fantastic day, and I'll catch you guys next time. See you guys.